Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, on this triumphant Tuesday for what is going to be nothing short of another jam-packed daily market update. And this well and truly is going to be a jam-packed one. So much so, I don't even know where to begin. Perhaps apologising for our late appearance. Usually we drop an update just like this one around 1 p.m. UK time every single day to help you guys stay up to date with the latest and greatest things happening within the markets, or the cryptocurrency markets, but also the broader markets. And that's what we're going to be doing to start the video off. Some really interesting revelations in regards to the Chinese economy came out yesterday. And we are going to be looking at those to start the video off. Because ultimately, you guys will know one reason in these daily market updates, we like to, often fragmentedly, put forward our reasoning for being long and invested in the cryptocurrency space and expecting it to do well. One of them is due to the cycles that overlap. A major cycle, which is largely going to be driven by central banks and ultimately currencies, is the Global Liquidity Index. This aligns with a Bitcoin 4-year cycle. It aligns with PMI cycles. It aligns with election cycles. It aligns with business cycles. It aligns with pretty much everything. And ultimately, it's confirmed technically when you look at the charts and where they currently are. Some altcoins in this kind of phase 1, ready for phase 2 base. Still 80% off our course, guys. We will be reducing that or increasing that to full price very shortly. Ultimately, the markets are very much positioned in the same way that global liquidity is. Global liquidity is set to rise, markets set to rise, and global liquidity is global. And one of the largest global central banks out there is the People's Bank of China. And ultimately, yesterday, we had news that they're essentially, I believe, going to cut interest rates. Now, this follows what the Federal Reserve has done. So this is from Dan Tapario. Huge macro event. Things so bad in China. Government flinches. QE for China equities. Rate cuts. Big liquidity coming. Low likely in for Chinese assets. Bazooka, bullish gold, BTC. Interesting. We actually have looked at various Chinese equities that are way further behind than sort of US, EU, UK equities. FTSE now at new all-time highs and has broken out of, it's been essentially going sideways for 7 or so years. But Chinese equities are about to do very well. And this is, again, also in line and backing up global liquidity. And you can see this was a take from Jerryan something. Wow, China just went all in on stimulus, sending Chinese stocks 4% higher. China's central bank lowered public interest rates and signaling more cuts are coming. Cut rates on over $5 trillion in mortgages. So we looked at this. Of course, we can't access this very guarded Bloomberg article. China considers allowing refinancing on $5.4 trillion mortgages. We, of course, did look at this, and they've essentially gone and done that. Eased rules on second home purchases, lower the requirement reserve ratio for banks, freeing up fresh liquidity, pledged over $100 billion to the US equity market support, or to their equity market, $100 in equity market support. State policymakers were studying a stock market stabilization fund, which would be sort of, when the government gets involved with the equity market, that's scary. But they in some ways, in the UK and even in the US and Europe, already are, because they mandate certain things in regards to investment funds and banks and these kind of things. So the governments do have a hand to play in regards to regulating and propelling markets. China just way further ahead. This is outright bullish for all risk, liquidity-sensitive asset classes like quality stocks more generally. Look at the IWM, small caps really going to start to excel. Stan Druckermiller knew this, and that's why he moved from NVIDIA down to the IWM, and we said that's a green light, and most people just completely missed what he was doing. Stocks, gold, and Bitcoin, if effective, it will also provide upward pressure on inflation. Copper's doing very well today on the back end of this, which has hovered just above 0 for months. Yeah, it's playing out, guys. And if by clockwork, why do we get these global liquidity cycles? Some would say it's due to refinancing. There's lots and lots of takes. Actually, on this one is here from Zero Hedge. Wait, what? China will allow securities firms, funds, and insurers to tap PBOC funds to buy stocks. Yeah. Is there something geopolitical and tactical going on here? Perhaps. However, this is going to be a contributor towards global liquidity. We've got the Fed lowering interest rates. We know what that in turn means for the dollar. That in turn means for risk. Crypto is going to be the best performer. Obviously, you've got Europe. I think the only central bank really, or one of the only central banks not lower rates yet, is the Oz, the Australian. Is it Royal Bank of Australia? They've not lowered rates yet, but I think they're going to set to do so. And we're going to see from all central banks continued lowering, which is going to alleviate headwinds from markets. And this is why markets have ran in the manner that they have. And we're likely seeing, if we look at the S&P, for example, let's do it. So not only do we have upside targets for Bitcoin that are very much in line with this sort of global liquidity cycles, look at the S&P. Now we've got continuation structure here that takes the S&P up. And this is why the markets have rallied like this, because they knew what was to come. You are not an insider, but the markets are moved by them. And this is why we're technical analysts. Look at Tesla. Won't be long before you take this neckline, and then we're on our target to 505. Who can't predict the markets? Stick around. Amazon. Very nearly back to where it pulled back. Bearing in mind we called this pre here. There's so many, and the altcoin market is ready to come into its own. But the reason markets have moved in the manner that they have is because they know what was coming. And we're getting it now. We're getting confirmation of that. We've done lots of work on the Dixie, etc., etc. But this is huge news, and this is why the markets look the way they do. Because liquidity is coming in various forms, not just the Fed, but other central banks out there. Let's go down a bit of a totalitarian path now. Talk about the European Central Bank. Oh, so a digital euro would be a digital form of cash available to everyone and accepted everywhere in euro areas. Says Executive Board member Perio Cipollone, Italian, I'm going to say maybe. Oh, I'm going to be winding people up in this one. It would bring tangible benefits to all stakeholders, consumers, merchants, and banks. There's very interesting things that you can actually do with. If you back your stablecoin up by debt, there's a yield on that debt, and you could essentially pay that directly into people who hold money, if you will, which is a very interesting thing. There's lots of there are benefits. I said there's lots of benefits. There's of course a massive downside in regards to the fact that you can actually program this money. How is this money going to work? It's going to work on blockchain, and there are some blockchains out there. Off the top of my head, Ripple has worked with the European Central Bank. We have worked, certainly in the Eurozone, from Algorand. There's lots of people that are ultimately, or public blockchains out there that have actually worked with the Eurozone. Stablecoins are going to be massive. We've not seen anything yet for the stablecoin market. Governments are going to use stablecoins to stave off debt crises and certainly sort of kick the can down the road, if you will. And certainly whilst that's happening, we think that's very good. You're going to get regulations. Regulations, I think, are bad for Tether. This is an interesting take. This is a guy from he's a former member of the European Parliament. Let me know your thoughts on all this, by the way, in the comment section, guys. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. It is indeed. What does he go and say? CBDC isn't a digital euro. It's a digital food stamp. Okay? Where the elite dictate what, when, and from whom you can buy. You lose control of your money, handing it over to those who locked you down during the event that shall not be named. Lots of things coming out in regards to that. Wake up. Many conspiracy theories have already become reality. Be warned. Very George Orwellian. Certainly if you're living in the UK right now, and actually see people defending what's going on in the comments section. Come on. Wake up. There's a lot going on. It's very George Orwellian what's going on right now, isn't it? What a visionary. Was he a visionary, or did he just take sort of, what would be the word here? Inspiration from a communist Russia? I don't know. Anyway, let's not go all the way down that rabbit hole, but the important thing is in regards to this is the digital euro is coming. Lots of takes on this. Also on the sort of totalitarian side of things. Telegram will now hand over IP addresses, phone numbers, and personal information of users if requested by authorities. Remember, Paul Pavel, the guy that's behind Tom Blockchain. Pay attention to Tom, guys. Dark horse for this bull market, in my opinion. He was honey-potted by Macron. And ultimately, this might have been what came after it. There's a reader's note here that says Telegram's privacy policy always stated that IP and phone numbers could be passed by to authorities. It's just now made more clear. See what they wrote in 2018. Nothing is new. It always was like this. Interesting. So that's a community note. So this was circulating. How true or not this is, we'll see. But there was a lot of things going on with Telegram. We got some interesting news in regards to BlackRock. So BlackRock amended its spot Bitcoin ETF custodian agreement with Coinbase to improve withdrawal times. Coinbase must now process Bitcoin withdrawals to a public address within 12 hours of receiving instructions. So this is BlackRock just really, as they do, asserting their weight. They're the bully in the room, BlackRock. They're the biggest guy in the room that's kind of going to throw their weight around, if you will. And of course, they'll rein in, BlackRock's largest holder of mining stocks. They'll rein in, and many sort of crypto-related companies and enablers and companies generally, they'll rein in, wherever they can. So to talk about the markets a little bit, because we've kind of danced around things, or to sort of summarize all that, great news coming out of China. It aligns with where we think global liquidity is going. It's amazing how the dominoes kind of fall into place, isn't it? Certainly we've seen what's happened with the Fed. Digital euro, one step closer to. There was a great comment, actually. Let's go ahead and find it in regards to when all this is going to come. Or maybe we'll save that for a separate video. I'm planning on going into what blockchains might be involved in this. Also, we had news in regards to Telegram. But when it comes to the markets, guys, there's a reason we're positioned in the manner that we are. Alt season is really yet to start. We think we're on the cusp of it. Great video. We did a great interview with the H-Bar Bull yesterday. Got so many altcoins and interesting things to cover with you guys. Dollar still broadly on that downside trajectory. A lot of volatility here. These are some of your Chinese stocks. Again, bullish divergence into what phase is this, guys? Let us know in the comment section if you've done our phase analysis course. And what are we expecting out of the upside? This is an ugly, ugly one. Nifty 50 up, up and away. Yeah, so very bullish on the markets. The last thing I want to cover is about Bhutan. I'm unfamiliar, I have to admit, guys. Somewhere in Asia. They have quickly become or leading the way in regards to global liquidity adoption. We're seeing more and more countries move away from the kind of BIS to Bitcoin. And I think it was something like a third of their GDP they hold in Bitcoin in terms of value. Now, can you imagine if Bitcoin gets to $309,000? What's that? 5x? They've got more in Bitcoin than, a couple of years GDP? Bitcoin does solve solutions in many regards. And even though we clown the Bitcoin maxis for really not having any idea what distributed ledgers truly are, or the potential of them, because they think it just applies to Bitcoin, which is very primitive but very special at the same time. We're a maximalist on Bitcoin being the premier store of value. Let's dive into this. And let's play it, and then we're going to wrap the video up. So a lot to cover. Great news out of China. Great news more broadly for the space. All confirming the plan that we have very much set out for you. So let's go ahead and dive into this clip. I'm going to go.
And now moving to Asia, Bhutan, the Himalayan kingdom known for prioritizing happiness over wealth, has quietly emerged as a major player in the cryptocurrency world. With $780 million worth of Bitcoin, which is nearly a third of its GDP, Bhutan has become the fourth largest government holder of Bitcoin. Now, what's fueling the country's ambitions to become a leader in green crypto mining? Here's our report with answers.
Nestled in the Himalayas, Bhutan, a tiny Buddhist kingdom with fewer than 900,000 people, has emerged as an unexpected yet powerful player in the world of cryptocurrency. Known for its serene landscapes, happiness-centric philosophy, and commitment to sustainability, Bhutan has quietly amassed a significant treasure. Over 13,000 Bitcoin, worth approximately $780 million. For a country with a GDP of just under $3 billion, this is a staggering sum, making Bhutan the fourth largest government holder of Bitcoin globally. The Himalayan kingdom is only behind the United States, China, and the United Kingdom as it overtook El Salvador, Ukraine, and Germany. Unlike the United States and China, which gained their cryptocurrency through seizures and legal battles, Bhutan took a more proactive approach by investing directly in Bitcoin mining. And the nation's journey into the digital asset world has been led by its state-owned investment arm, Druk Holdings. Now, even though Bitcoin, the world's first decentralized digital currency, was created in 2009, it has since evolved from a fringe internet experiment into a globally recognized financial asset. And what makes Bitcoin unique is its limited supply and its decentralized nature, operating outside the control of any central bank. While on the other hand, mining Bitcoin involves solving complex mathematical problems to validate transactions on the blockchain, a process that consumes significant energy but offers lucrative rewards in Bitcoin currency. Bhutan's decision to mine Bitcoin rather than purchase it directly aligns with its broader strategy to diversify revenue streams. The country's Bitcoin mining activities have been fueled by its abundant hydropower resources, making Bhutan one of the most eco-friendly crypto miners in the world.
Well, there you have it, guys. Bhutan. I love Bitcoin. I truly do. When you hear stories like that, it just fills me with happiness. We clown the Bitcoin maxis because they deserve to be clowned, because they basically try and clown everything that's not Bitcoin. However, Bitcoin is truly special in many ways. My worry is that it was designed by the very people who have used the fiat systems and money and finance and banking more globally to control us, and nations, etc., are perhaps behind Bitcoin also. But that's my only concern. You know, we can talk about that another day. But wow, what an amazing story. The fourth largest Bitcoin holder in the world. Go on, Bhutan. And maybe, you know, Allincrypto, we don't really get out the house much because there's so much to cover, but we don't really go out globally and start to cover some of these crypto stories. And that's where we want to take this channel. We want Allincrypto to be your equivalent of your main news outlets in regards to the cryptocurrency space. And thanks everyone for helping me on that journey. I'm going to love and leave you guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a triumphant Tuesday. And I'll see you all in the next one.